Today I'm going to be showing you how to crochet my favorite kind of bookmark, one that wraps around. Hello and welcome back to Lucky Day Crochet. If you've ever seen any of my tutorials, then you may have noticed that I love making flowers, and I'm so excited to share this one with you. I think it's so adorable when it's popping out and resting on the top of a book. I especially love this style because there's no chance of it falling out and making you lose your spot. This is a super easy bookmark that you can make in around half an hour. The pattern requires 3 colors, one for the center and chain, one for the petals, and one to outline the flower. I'll be using Hobbii Rainbow 8/8 cotton with a 3.5mm hook. I made another one using 8/6 cotton and a 3mm hook, which came out a little bit daintier. You can use any yarn you'd like, but I'd recommend sticking with weight 3 or less, otherwise your bookmark might come out a little bit too bulky to use. You'll also need scissors, tapestry needle, and a stitch marker. Grab your center color and let's get started. We're going to begin with a magic ring. This is my favorite method, which I've linked down below, as well as some alternatives, but I'll do a real quick walkthrough of it. Start by taking your tail and bringing it up between your middle and pointer fingers. Then drape it over your pointer. Hold your working yarn against your palm with your ring and pinky fingers. Then pinch the tail with your middle finger and thumb. Now take the tail and make a loop that goes under the point that you're pinching and repinch it. And that's it. Now take your hook and insert it into the loop you've made and grab the yarn face down, pull it through and twist it towards you and up. So easy. Now just chain 1 and we're going to work 6 single crochets into the circle. Alrighty, and once you're done, you can go ahead and pull the tail to close the circle and we'll get ready for round 2. We'll be working in a continuous round, which means we're not slip stitching to the first one. So go ahead and grab your stitch marker. Now for this round, we're going to be increasing in every stitch around, which means we're working 2 single crochets into every stitch. So go ahead and insert your hook into the first stitch and make your single crochet. Don't forget to pop a stitch marker in there. Now you can finish increasing in the first stitch by working another single crochet. And now continue increasing in every stitch around and I'll meet you at the end. Awesome, and that was basically it for our center color. Now you can remove the stitch marker and slip stitch to the first stitch. We're going to be coming back to this later, so chain 1 and grab your stitch marker and place it into the live loop, which is the loop that's currently on your hook. And now we're going to move on to the petals. Grab your second color and make a slip knot, but don't place it on your hook yet. Insert your hook into the first stitch, so skip your slip stitch and chain that we just made and insert it into the first. And now you can place the slip knot on your hook and pull it through the stitch. Now yarn over and pull through the loop on your hook, and that's our first chain. Chain 3 more for a total of 4 chains. Now we're making 2 double treble stitches into the same stitch. Sounds crazy, but it's super easy, I promise. If you can do a double crochet or a treble crochet, then you can totally do this. Yarn over 3 times and insert your hook into the stitch. Yarn over and pull up a loop. Yarn over and pull through the first 2 loops. Yarn over and pull through the next 2 loops. Yarn over again and pull through the next 2. And finally, yarn over and pull through the last 2. Make one more double treble into the stitch. And now we're going to work 2 double trebles into the next stitch. Awesome, and when you're done, chain 4 and slip stitch back into this stitch. Now chain 1 and slip stitch into the next stitch. And repeat all of that. Chain 4, work 2 double trebles into this stitch, and then 2 double trebles into the next one. And finish it by chaining 4 and slip stitching back into the stitch. Continue repeating that all around, making sure you're doing your chain 1 between the petals, and I'll meet you at the end. Alrighty, so I'm just working my final slip stitch, and now I'm going to chain 1 and slip stitch back into the very first stitch. When you're done, you can go ahead and chain 1 and fasten off. Alrighty, now we're going to work on our last round. Grab your last color and make a slip knot and pop it on your hook. Insert your hook into the last chain 1 space that we made. It'll be a little bit hard to see, but just right between the 2 slip stitches. Yarn over and pull through a loop, and then make a slip stitch. Now chain 5, and then work a single crochet into the top of each of our double trebles. Once you've made your 4 single crochets, then you can chain 5 and slip stitch into the next chain space. And you're just going to repeat that all the way around. I'll do the next one with you, and then I'll meet you at the end. So chain 5, work our 4 single crochets, and then chain 5 and slip stitch into the chain space. Repeat that 4 more times, and I'll meet you at the end. Alrighty, I just did my last chain 5 and now I'm slip stitching back into the same space where our first slip stitch is. Once you're done, then you can chain 1 and fasten off. How stinking cute is this? We're going to make the big loop now, so go back to your center color, remove your stitch marker and insert your hook. And now you're just going to chain, chain, chain. For my first bookmark with the lighter weight yarn, I chained 125. So we'll see what I do for this one. You just need it to be about double the length of your book. So I've done 75 and let's see how it looks. I'm just going to insert my bookmark about halfway through the book and not quite. I'm going to chain 15 more for a total of 90. We'll see how that is. The exact number of chains you do is going to depend on your yarn, your hook, your tension, but your finished chain should measure around 20-21 inches. But yep, that looks perfect. Once you're happy, then make sure your chain isn't twisted up. And then we're going to slip stitch into the back bump of the first chain. So on the back of the chain are these little solo loops. Find the one on the very bottom. It'll look longer than the rest, and then slip stitch into it. And then you can chain 1 and fasten off. Awesome! All that's left to do is weave in our ends. Starting with our first color, weave your first end around the magic circle until it feels nice and secure. Take your second end and bring it down through nearby stitches to your magic ring stitches and then weave it around and around as well. For your second color, weave those through the bottom of the petals. Just do them in opposite directions so that the petals are being tugged towards each other and not apart. And finally, for the last ones, make sure that they're both at the back of the flower and then weave through nearby stitches and then through the bottom of the petals as well. And that was it. I hope you found this tutorial helpful and I hope you love your new bookmarks as much as I love mine. Please let me know down in the comments if you have any questions or problems and I'll try my best to help you out. If you want to help support my channel, then a like and a comment goes a long way. And don't forget to subscribe because I post a couple tutorials every week and you don't want to miss out. But thank you again so much for watching. I really appreciate it. And as always, happy crocheting and stay lucky. Bye!